This is something that I would like generally to say to all my people. Future colleagues, I hope, because you have to carry on what I fortunately had, by good composers, by good conductors. So you have to become strong enough to fight bad tradition, fight in a nice way, by proving to the conductor who frequently, lately, does not really know what the score is about because they don't have time. Everything's in a hurry. We're all in a hurry. Too much of a hurry. So if you sing, if you do any kind of artistic job, you cannot be in a hurry. You cannot be disturbed. You must dedicate yourself. That's why I encourage young people to start. Because you live. This is your life. Now, that is very important because it has to be spoken. What is the proportion you're covering? Well, it depends generally on each individual. And I want one and each and every one of you to become an individual. Now, by that I don't mean that you go crazy. You start doing whatever you want. Because first of all, you have the composer to serve. Then you have the style of the composer in each opera. So you find Mozart, you find Verdi, you find Donizetti. In every opera, he treats his own self differently. In other words, he progresses as a musician. Or he wants it that way. So you cannot use a cadenza just like that. You have to use a cadenza which is within the style of that particular opera. I bring an example, Turco in Italia, we did. There was no cadenza because the cadenzas usually are written or a piacere, to the taste of the singer. Once upon a time in the 19th century, they improvised. We don't do it anymore because we don't live like in that period. It was that style then. Composers disagreed. In fact, if you care to read the lives of the composers in your spare time, I think you should. You would see that the composers were desperate, saying, why do these singers just manipulate our music in that way? If they want cadenzas, please. Actually, he would say it himself. Rossini once heard a singer. You all know that story. And he said, well, very wonderful. But what was the opera he was singing? It was Barbiere in Sevilla. They had treated it so differently that he was... So we must really respect the style of the composer and of each opera. That's why Forza del Destino has its attitude. Ballo in Maschera has another attitude because he has grown older. When he was younger, things move on. But it is always within our good taste. And that we must. This is the must of my being. It always has, and I want to instill in you who will carry on, must carry on. This is what I want to point out. I don't know if I made it clear. So you should never try to have an effect on your own if it's not within the style of the composer and within the opera itself. Have I made myself clear? Any questions to be asked? It's very difficult to talk because you see, this applies also to drama, it applies to instrumentalists, I'm sure. An instrumentalist would not dare touch Mozart, for instance, or Beethoven, who wouldn't even dare put a cadenza that's not supposed to, or rather ornament. Am I right? I wish we had a few musicians or instrumentalists. They would not dream of it. So why should we, singers, dream of getting away with it? It's not right. See what I mean? This is the attitude that we, first of all, initially are musicians. And we must not forget that. Therefore, servants to people who are much better than us, who are the composers, and who have died in poverty and frequently misunderstood on account of that. But they believe. Now we must believe and try and help them, not ourselves. Of course, by helping the composers, we help ourselves automatically. And fame comes automatically if you have the courage to also say no to contracts, also to starve yourself a little bit, because I did quite a bit of that, and I'm quite sure if you read the history of composers, they certainly went hungry, so we cannot have our cake and eat it. You must know what you want to do in life, and you cannot do too many things. That was a little lecture, I'm sorry. I wasted your time, but it's